Hello, welcome back to Calm AF. So I'm really excited about today's episode. I had planned on kind of going into a whole series on energy managers. That was already in the works. And then I got a little universe wink when I got a text from one of my besties, one of my favorite humans I have ever known. And she texted me. And what's really cool about this is that she was there as I made my transition from speech pathology to coaching, like back in 2011, 2012. And so it's really fun that she sent me this today and it lined up with my podcast. She wrote, a while back, I decided to start your podcast from the beginning. This morning, as I was getting ready and driving to work, I literally said, this motherfucker is talking to me. Damn it. And then in true Laura fashion, she shared the exact date and number of the episode. It was episode 187 from back in 2022. And this was one of the first episodes where we were really starting to dive into energy managing, what it is, who they are, why we do it. Because of all my podcast episodes, the moment I started talking about energy managers, which, by the way, is a term that I coined after working with hundreds of people who didn't quite fit people pleaser, didn't quite fit perfectionist. So I coined this term energy managers. These episodes hit different. They are so resonant with energy managers. So over the next few weeks, or probably more, we're going to be talking about the identity of an energy manager and how to leave that behind to create a new identity. Because I promise, the energy manager thing, it's not going to get you what you want. You've got to create a new identity. So let's dive in. So let's start with what is an energy manager. They aren't full-on people pleasers. They have a lot of characteristics. There's definitely some people pleasing happening, but it's not quite that. They are super high functioning, meaning they are the ones taking care of everyone and everything. They look like they're taking care of themselves, that they've got it all handled. But if you could see behind the curtain like I do, you'd be like, ooh boy. And you probably know this if you identify as an energy manager. These people are typically hyper independent. They're taking care of everyone. They are not being taken care of. They are often high performers, like the highest, the most valuable person in just about every circle that they're in. So they're the ones everyone in the family goes to. They're the ones all the friends go to for work. The PTA, their book club, they're always the most valuable person for some reason. Is this sounding like you? You're the calm one. You're the capable one. You're the one everyone relies on. And I'm going to say this with all the love in my heart, you are a bit of a control freak. Not with everything, and maybe you're not even controlling with the sort of things you think of when you think of a control freak. You don't trust anyone else to manage other people's emotions, other people's moods, other people's thoughts, other people's experiences. You're a control freak because you don't have anyone managing you. Your battle cry is, oh, no, it's just easier if I do it. I'm fine, I got it. You're the manager of the energy of anything that is around you. And it's something you're really good at. It's easy for you to manage the energy in a room. And energy managers often think that we do this and we're good at it because we are just more emotionally intelligent. We don't react as strongly. We're more resilient. Like, my emotions aren't explosive. I don't lose my shit over little things. And is probably true. And to be fair, in some ways, you really are emotionally and energetically brilliant, like savant level, when it comes to external energy. So you can feel when someone across the room doesn't like something that was said. You can see from a mile away the slightest facial movement, the slightest little change in eye movement, a breath pattern that indicates there has been a shift here, which means there's potential for conflict. Conflict. Sound the alarms. And for you, when the alarm sounds, you know what to do. You know who to be. You know what to say. You know how to fix the blip in the universe before it becomes a big deal. But you're not detecting these subtle shifts because you're so easy breezy or fine when the people around you are melting down. You aren't triggered by the thing that triggered the shift in the mood. You aren't triggered by the thing that triggered the person's nervous system. Your nervous system is triggered by the shift in the mood. Theirs is happening on the outside, their dysregulation. Yours is happening on the inside. That's energy managing. You're good at saying you're fine, and you're even really good at looking like you're fine. But that doesn't mean that you are. One of my favorite lines, I say it all the time, energy doesn't lie. You might say you're fine, you might be fooling people, but your body is like, girl. Here's how it feels. And this is why why energy managers feel so desperate to predict anything going wrong ahead of time. Because when there is conflict, when someone else outwardly shows that they are upset, disappointed, angry, aggressive, in a slightly bad mood, for an energy manager, it feels like that person picked up a fire hose that instead of shooting out water, shoots out like gritty, sharp, hot sludge and blasted you with it. They burst and then they walk away, probably feeling better to get that out. And those emotions weren't yours, but they sure feel like it as you're covered in the gritty, sharp, emotional, sludgy residue. That's how it feels. That's why it feels so vitally important for us to be hypervigilantly scanning. So there you are now, covered in sludge. What's an energy manager to do? There's no time to even think about carefully taking care of yourself, getting the sludge off of you. There's no time to think about it. You're angry that you let this explosion happen. How did I miss it? Clearly, I wasn't hypervigilant enough. Next time, I need to be more hypervigilant. You're angry that other people can't just control their shit. Why do I have to stay calm? Why do you get to explode and blast me with the gritty fire hose goo? You feel resentful and exhausted, and all you have time to do is just cover that sludge up. Just hide it, shove it in, throw on a smile so that no one knows that even an ounce of that fire hose sludge hit you. You can't let them see because that's going to create even more discomfort that leaves you with just enough time to start hypervigilantly looking for the next shift in the energy. And this is just what you do. You walk around, you get heavier and heavier as you build the sludge up with no end in sight. There's no lasting peace. There's no place that you ever really feel safe from being blasted by the fire hose. But sure, you're fine. Are you like, oh my God, how does she know? She sees me. She knows about the hiding. She knows about me covering it up with a smile and looking really together on the outside. How does she know? I've been exposed. Well, you happen to be talking to the president of the club, the grand priestess of energy managing, who is now well into recovery, like energy manager sober, so to speak. And what you need to know about being energy manager sober is that it's very similar to any other sobriety. It's a one day at a time kind of a deal. You learn that your emotional intelligence is superior when it comes to other people's emotions, but all of your overthinking, overworking, hyperachieving is an attempt to protect yourself from your own uncomfortable feelings because you don't know how to handle them. And in your head, you're like, the problem is they can't control themselves. They can't control that fire hose. They need to calm down. They need to learn not to fly off the handle anytime something little goes wrong, which is true, okay? I am not here talking to the energy managers about how we need to do this work. It's all on me again. I am not suggesting that. Your people need to learn how to regulate. And don't come at me with, well, but can they? Because, it's really hard for them because they're neurodivergent. They had a terrible childhood. Listen, if you are in a relationship, then you need to take responsibility for your shit. Or you just have no business being in a relationship, okay? I'm not saying they shouldn't learn how to handle their fire hose. That's what she said. But this cycle, this hypervigilance, exhaustion, resentment, I'm fine cycle will never end until you stop energy managing. And I know that sounds impossible when that means that you are going to be standing there covered in sludge regularly. So let me tell you what it actually looks like. You're standing in your kitchen and your partner is in a mood and you can feel it just radiating off of them. And normally you would already be like 10 steps into damage control, but instead you just keep chopping the vegetables and the discomfort sits in your chest like a heavy weight and you let it sit there because you finally understand that their mood isn't a problem you have to solve. It's just weather, and you can feel the weather without being the weather. The discomfort, the instant you sense that micro shift in the energy, you have to override your autopilot reaction, which is fix, and just be uncomfortable. And it, especially at the beginning, is so uncomfortable. But as I reminded a client just yesterday, who cares if it's uncomfortable? You already feel uncomfortable all the time. All that residue that's just stuck to you, all that heaviness and anger and resentment and exhaustion, you're already uncomfortable. Energy managing creates chronic, lifelong discomfort. That's it. That's what you're signing up for however long you choose to continue energy managing. Stopping will create acute discomfort at first. Acute discomfort sometimes feels sharper because it's different, but it's not chronic. So you choose to stay in the acute temporary discomfort because that is the only way that this pattern is broken. That's what you do. And then tomorrow you do it again. And over time, your body stops screaming quite so loud because you've learned that it's way easier to manage your energy so you can feel better than it is to manage literally everyone else in the world so that you can feel better. Way easier, way more efficient. And it's just one day at a time. Every day, you choose to step into the identity of you who is not an energy manager, but who is the master of your own energy. This is why I write my daily love letters and why I send them to all my clients. We need to start our day reminded of what we're doing and why we're doing it. And then you have to choose it over and over and over and over. So I write them for me in my recovery and from my clients and theirs. If you want to get those love letters delivered to your inbox, there is a link in the show notes. Now, for the next couple of weeks, months, we're going to be focusing on energy managers because truly, this is not a thing that just is going to go away. The only way it could just go away on its own and you could just stop energy managing would be if everyone in your life and out in the world finally chills out and is in a good mood and happy, and there is no potential conflict ever. That's how. Make sure you are subscribed so that you do not miss this series. Okay. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I will see you next week.